You have some young citizens. They are dealing with social problems, marginalization, living in the suburbs or living marginalized from the society, not getting jobs. And there are two answers. The first could be, we are not respected as citizens, so it could remain a social issue or a political issue. The great majority, as they are listening to the political discourse that there is a problem with Islam and that Muslims should be integrated and all these things, they tend to reduce their, not to reduce, but to assimilate their social problems of integration to the overall discourse and political discourse they have in the society. Say, okay, if I'm experiencing this, it's because I'm a Muslim. They don't like Islam, or Islam is perceived as a threat or a problem per se. So you will find answers at many different levels coming from the young, marginalized. And this is why here it's really important for us to understand that this could be the gray area where you can be attracted by anything. You can be attracted by a religious discourse telling you, we told you, they don't like you, come back to Islam, because this is the only way you are going to protect it. Or you can be involved or attracted by only political discourse, which is, okay, you will be involved in a party, which is the more positive dimension of this reaction, which is you are feeling or you are experiencing discrimination, racism, or alienation or marginalization, come back to the mainstream by and through a political party. But you also have, as it happened during in the suburbs in France, something which is destroy. There is no way, they don't listen to you, so shout. So they are building, so destroy. And I think that here, once again, in this area, we can understand that it's something which is a kind of crisis. And in times of crisis, any one of us on a personal level could go anywhere. You can be attracted by the more appealing, call at that time. So this is why it's really important, again, to understand the situation and say, okay, let us come with a clear discourse, a clear understanding of what is happening. First, on the religious field, it's really, once again, important to say, no, it's not a religious problem. And I want the Muslims to hear this. Even though I hear politicians putting the blame on religious principles, I want the Muslims to understand whatever they say, whatever is their perception, it should not be yours. This is not the problem. It has nothing to do with your culture. It has nothing to do with your religion. It may have to be with their racism or their perception, but not with your reality. So understand that this has nothing to do with this. So a clear discourse which is to refuse to Islamize the social problems. So we need to do this at the grassroots. We need to do this in the suburbs. And this is why when I'm going, to deal with, communities at the grassroots level in the UK, in Holland, for example, or in France, I'm always saying, look, don't fall into the trap. If you integrate the discourse or the religious discourse as the main problem, you are comforting this political game used by the far-right parties or by some parties, and you are putting yourself into a box which is into a religious marginalization where it's a social problem. So this is one, a clear discourse on this. And now we have to come with a clear discourse on citizenship. I'm saying that to convince the young citizens that here they have to act as citizens is really to say, okay, look at your society, listen to the ideal statements done by politicians about, equality, brotherhood, equal opportunities, no discriminations, no racism, and just come with this discourse and compare it with what you are experiencing on the ground. And if it's not matching, you should come with a critical loyalty. Be loyal to your country through a critical involvement in politics and at the social ground. So this is where we can attract them. Why? Because we're not going to avoid the problem. No, you don't tell them, no, it's not a religious problem, everything is fine. No. Accept the fact that there are problems and give them the opportunity to express a critical discourse towards the government or towards the local authority by saying the schools, second-class schools that we have, second-class citizenship that we have, no respect, but on the social field, on the political field. And I think that when you attract them by giving them a kind of channel to their anger or frustrations, you are transforming this into a positive direction and positive experience. There is something that we can just see after what happened in the suburbs in November 2005 and what happened in the last election in France. It was said, and the figures are really good in that, 2 million of young citizens put their name in the election list to be able to participate in the political life. It's going to be more and more the case, and this is what we have to promote. So this is the second field where we have to be very, very present, and it's important for both politicians and also Muslim scholars to be on that field. For the Muslim scholars to say it's not a religious thing, and for politicians to say it's, so to have a complementary voices coming on that and helping this to happen. And the third thing which is really important just to deal with the grey area is local initiatives. It's really to work at the local level. Overall discourse, clarity, but very local involvement and commitment to change the mentality and to understand in which way they can make it better. But this is what we have to do with the more radical and the extremists and the people who are saying that we can kill, condemning, rejecting, and working within the community and challenging the people who still in the community respect the law but are promoting a binary vision of reality. And the only way is a very, very strong and ongoing intra-community dialogue.